Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today I'm going to be working on my February drawing challenge. Now, this is a sketchbook that I made. I purchased a roll, excuse me, of Strathmore 500. It is their only 100% cotton paper. It is mixed media. It's a little thinner than I would like, especially for heavy watercolors. But it holds up well. It does well, and I can layer with it. So I've done other sketchbook challenges with it. I did one back in March of, I want to say 2022. I did March of the Robots with a softbound. I'll throw up a picture of what it looks like. Anyway, and I did colored pencil with watercolor on top, and it worked great. I only did one side of the page though. So I love the paper so much that I thought for doing my low-buy art supply that buying a roll would be a really smart idea. It is. It's just a roll is more work because you have to, basically the quickest, fastest way to get the paper to lie flat is to tape it and then wet it and let it dry. It takes a long time to flatten the paper. And again, this isn't the thickest stuff. So what this is a piano hinge binding. And I did it with kitchen skewers. I will link the video where I put this together. This was a ton of fun. And we'll get into this more. But I started this celebrating sunshine because where I live, it's very rainy most of the time, except for today. It's sunny, so it's on point. But it's very, very rainy and wet. And then in the summertime, where it's supposed to be dry, we get a lot of fog. So we have a lot of huge trees, and that's how they get watered all year round, is they pull moisture from the air. So I did a couple pages and got it started, and then I didn't know where to go from there because I set it aside and something else came up and I was like, oh, I'll just overlap the drawing challenges. No, no. There's no way I could overlap these drawing challenges. And I didn't plan it out. I wasn't thinking clearly, or I don't know. I just wasn't on my best time allowance, like trying to figure out how long things take me. And in doing this challenge, I'll show you a couple more pages. Okay, so early spread. Yeah, in doing this challenge, it's taking me anywhere from 2 hours to 4 hours just to fill one page. So this is a Richson, this is a porcelain palette, and this is my Schmincke. I have the 36 set. We will talk about this color later because I don't know what happened with that guy. Anyway, I have the Faber-Castell. It's like a pop-up cup that I clean. I clean it at the end of the year. I use, I use a magic eraser and a scrub brush to really get it looking brand new. But I know. This is a pipette. I'm activating the colors before we get started. I'm going to use some yellow. I'm going to do a yellow bird. Anyway, so I went to do this drawing challenge, and I love this paper. I've made other sketchbooks with this paper. I did one that was folded. I can link that video too. I'm using the Winsor Newton Cotman brushes. I have the 4-round and the 2/0. It's a 00. I'm going to zoom in and then we can see what I'm doing closer. All right, we're zoomed in, so hopefully we will be able to see what I'm doing a little bit better. Yeah, I just couldn't allocate my time well with this, and I wanted to do this on top of the other drawing challenge I was doing, and there was no way I could do that. I'm not made of time, so I'm gonna do, gosh, I have so many things in my mind right now. Yeah, and so it sat on my bookshelf for, years. I started this, I think, gosh, I want to say 2023, and then I didn't finish it. There was no way. I'm doing a really strange, unique bird nest, in case you're wondering what I'm doing. It's sort of like a wood. It's made of wood chips. Of all the things I've never really watercolored, I've done a ton of birds. I love birds, obviously. So any excuse to incorporate those is fine by me. But I haven't really done a lot of nests. And This is forcing me to sort of break out of that and try new things. And there's some really unique bird nests that exist. And so I am taking full advantage of that. Yeah. And we're going to let this layer dry, and then I'm going to go back over with other layers. But basically it's like wood chip color. So really pale wood chips. Little bits of wood that some birds like to gather and stuff when they're making their nests. So I'm not too worried about seams or lines because of all the other layers. And like I said, filling each page is taking me 2 to 4 hours. So there's no way that I'm going to be able to finish this on camera, like the whole thing. There's just no way. But I'll do the best I can to show you some stuff. Okay, and I have a little towel with me. This is just like a baby towel. Back when our kids were babies. Okay, let's do a yellow bird of some sort, a tiny bird. Anyway, so about this piano hinge binding, a ton of fun. I can link my playlist of binding things. I've done like the stab binding, the 4-hole binding. I have done the Coptic binding. Did not enjoy it. It is a lot of stitching paper, and I had no idea that stitching paper was a thing I wouldn't enjoy. So nope, that's not for me. And what else have I done? I've done the folded, and then I've done the piano hinge. So I liked the stab binding, the 4-hole binding. However, it leaves a huge seam on the side of paper you cannot. Okay, we're gonna let that dry, and we're gonna come back to the nest because, well, it's not fully dry. Let's do some leaves or something while we wait. There we go. Kind of touched it, didn't I? It's all right. It's gonna have pieces and bark lines and stuff. So let's throw up a leaf of something while all this layer's dry. And that's kind of, I mean, that's kind of what watercolor is. It's a lot of like layering and letting things dry and going back over and seeing what you want things to look like. This is very vertical, so I think I'm going to add something kind of horizontal or diagonal to sort of break that up on the page. And this is a very granulating watercolor that I've grabbed. There's some granulating ones within this set, and I can link my Schminke video if you want to see, like, when you go to buy a huge set of watercolors, really read about all the different colors, because some will be opaque, some will be transparent, some will be semi-transparent, some will be granulating. Within each set, you will find colors that just, they perform different because they're made with different pigments. So that's something to be cognizant of. If you don't like any granulating watercolors, or you don't like anything super opaque, like you're going for a really thin, sort of transparent layers of your watercolor, you may want to build your own palette. That's just something to think about. Anyway, I'm doing very wet on wet here. Everybody likes their watercolors a little different. Some people don't use black, some people don't use white. Some people swear by both. Like, it's what's best is what's preference for you, whatever your budget is, whatever you're interested in. I like all of it. I use all of it. I don't mind having variations within a set or having things that perform differently. Just the more you use your set, the more you use your watercolors, the more you'll get to know them. And when you get to know them, like, you'll know what to expect from each one, sort of. So this is very much a botanical bird thing. But again, I'm waiting for each layer to dry, which is partly why some of this is like taking so long. Like working around in a circle, like working in different areas and adding different things to make it look interesting, and then make sure things dry, and then I can go back to them. And so I'm not really wasting time. I'm still working on everything. I'm just doing moving around from topic to topic on each page as I work. And it saves some time doing it that way. I mean, I could totally wait for this area to dry. I could blow dry it and keep going and working this thing and then move on to the next one if I wanted to. But I'm not going to blow dry on on film. I'm not doing that for you. That's horrible to listen to. So we're just not going to do it. Yeah. Some of the sounds don't translate well in a video, so I don't want you to have that experience. But yeah, this has been very unique, going back to something that I started years ago and then left because there was just I had no plans. I was just sort of watercoloring different items, almost like a collage of just natural things. And I didn't have a clear picture of what I wanted for this sketchbook, which is unfortunate because I went through the trouble of making it and designing it and coming up with an idea, which was celebrating all things in the sun. And then I abandoned it. So I'm really, really glad this year I am going through all the sketchbooks in my cabinet on my shelf and just really honing in and making sure I'm using my things. Holding myself accountable for everything I create, not letting anything just sit there and sort of collect dust, basically. But I have to say, even though the piano hinge binding is super fun and it was fairly quick, for a first timer, it was quick for me to create. When you think about in terms of how I'm working and how I'm creating, I'm basically filling a sketchbook a month, which is fine, but it's a month of work for years of storage. And when you start thinking about it in terms like that, storing your sketchbooks and how they lay flat or how they, sit on your shelf is something to consider. Or maybe you store them in a drawer, or maybe you just pull out your favorite pages and get rid of them. I don't know. But this has such a huge spine because of the skewers that it's not really the most practical thing for storage. Plus there's no protective cover. And the last page of this is kind of dirty. And I'm gonna have to figure out how to clean that up a bit. I'll erase it and see if I can kind of lightly scrub it or something. I'm not really sure what to do with that. So yeah, I don't recommend, if you have storage issues or you don't like things to sit a certain way, the piano hinge binding may not be for you. Like I said, it was super fun. It was fairly quick, especially for me, and I'm not a binding person by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not good at that. I'm a beginner, very, very much a beginner, and it was easy to follow instructions. I will link a tutorial video in the description box if you're interested. That would be more thorough than what I showed. Because what I showed is just, it's very much me trying to figure a thing out. So, which is fine, but you may need a professional to explain it better, and I know I do. So one of my goals this year that didn't make it into my goal list is to figure out a good binding for this paper, for this roll of paper I own, because I'd like to make more sketchbooks with it. That definitely will help me, again, utilize the purchase, but keep to my low buy art supply, which I have the budget of $500 US a year. And since I'm using up all my sketchbooks, I'm really going to have to figure out how to do this next year. Am I buying 12 sketchbooks for 2026? And then how am I sticking to $500 doing that? And then how will I be able to afford to buy any mediums if I'm, buying 12 sketchbooks? So I want some of the sketchbooks to be from the paper for my roll, but I just haven't found the right binding, and I need to find the right binding. One that doesn't eat up a lot of the page, one that doesn't have a weird sort of spine, like it stores well. I need to think about storage as much as I need to think about creation. And maybe I just sort of force myself to do the Coptic one, even though I don't like it. I'm not good at it. I don't use enough string. And maybe I just need to, you know, embroidery floss the whole thing instead of wax. The wax thread I find is super stretchy, and I don't always know how to predict, you know, how that's going to be long term, if it's going to loosen up. I don't know. I just don't like the wax thread. So I can embroidery floss it, I suppose. But then I really need to make sure I use the right lengths, because I don't know how, if I use, oh my gosh, I tried the Coptic binding. I did not pull enough thread, and so I was trying to tie off more pieces as I was trying to tie. Like I was trying to keep it together while I bound it. It just was a mess, and so whatever I was doing was not right, and it just, yeah, my fingers were kind of sore from doing it. So, right, there's some leaves. Let's go back to my nest. And I'm just gonna layer, what's more, browns? Because again, this is like wood pieces, like maybe it's dried grass, dry grass sort of nest. And so I need some browns. And I'm gonna need, you know, 3 or 4 of differing colors and layers and little bits. It's pretty red. Okay. I'm making a color right here. And he looks really similar. But you can build up. You can go like slowly darker and darker and darker if you want. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. And so I need pieces and bits. And that's not nearly dark enough. Okay, there we go. Yep, weird bird nests. And so this has been a fun little challenge. Like, again, I'm trying to go out of my comfort zone. I'm trying to be a better artist, a better creator. And the only way I know how to do that, one, is just consistent practice, which is what I'm doing. And then trying things I've never tried before. And so that is the fun I am having with this guy a bit. I have never done some of these bird nests before. I've never even seen half these bird nests before, and birds make some really unique nests. So I have one on this page. Hold on, I'll show you. So this one, like a hanging grass one, and then I have this one, which is like a moss lichen one. So I'm having fun, like really trying to, it's not so far out of my comfort zone because again, I do a lot of birds, so I'm very comfortable with that subject matter. But the nest thing's cool. So all these little birds have some really unique nests, and I don't know which, but there's a few birds that like lay eggs on the ground. Like, have you seen those photos? I'll try and find one where it shows a photo of like the bird nest and it's like 3 sticks on the ground. It's like the worst nest makers. Oh, they're nest shaming some birds online. I'll have you know. Like, how do you keep your babies alive with that situation? So, yeah. I'm enjoying the research on this a little bit. It's not like last month was extinction and that was really sad. This month is all life, vitality, enjoying things in the sun. So I need to let that layer dry. It's been a lot of fun. Just sort of enjoying that. I'm going to grab a smaller brush. I'm going to go in with my black and start on the bird. It needs a beak. It needs a beak and an eye. It just looks like it looks like an egg yolk. We can't have that. Okay. Let's start on the beak. I'll give you a big one. Okay. This is, again, this is my 000. So, slow and steady. I do have some mixed media in here. I have some ink things that are fun. I have my washi tape, but I've been putting a strip of washi tape on the right page. And this one is called Vanilla Sky. And it's just bright and cheery with clouds. I really like it. I think it fits the theme well. So we are going with it a little longer. There we go. All right, so there's a beak. We need an eye. The eye can be right around here. Yep. Talking to myself. Get the best answers that way. All right. So I need that to dry because I want that to be really dark black, and then I want the top half to be like light gray, and that will look like the eye shine. You know what I mean? Okay. I'm like trying to explain the method to my madness. Too much madness, not enough method. Okay, that's a little dark. A little bit of gray in here for this bird. I'm gonna try and lighten it up. I need, you know what I need? I need like a little bit of gray out here. This is what I've done. I've done black on the edge to try and thin it to get the gray I need. Not silly. Anyway, here we go. Bird baby. Yellow and black like a bumblebee. The thing I don't have in here are too many insects. I have some butterflies in here, so that's been kind of fun, researching some unique butterflies. And I've been trying to do more orange and red. Like I'm trying to make a conscious effort to use colors I hardly ever use. That's, again, working out of my comfort zone, trying to get used to some of these colors, how they perform, how they act. Never do stuff with orange. It's like I play favorites. Anyway, so it's been fun doing some orange flowers. If you want to see each one I create every day, the finished, it's going to be on my Instagram. And that's kind of where I hold myself accountable for daily creations. So, yeah, what's going to happen is I'm going to finish this. This is only like 24 pages, so I'm going to finish this before the month is through. Especially since I started a couple pages a few years ago. So with that, I'm just going to start on my March challenge early, which is going to be a Midori A5. And I have no plans. I have no idea what I'm doing with that. So that's something I need to keep in the back of my mind as I start thinking ahead for what I want March to look like. Okay, got a little bit of eye shine in there. But again, it's just dark black with gray to create that. So, a little darker. Anyway, yep, that is where I'm at with all of this, experimenting and having fun and using my sketchbooks. I like Strathmore. I like their stuff. I think I have a video about their paper. I'll link that too. I'll just link some stuff in the description box if you want to tool around. You talking about all the stuff. Okay. Little bird. That needs to dry. That layer needs to dry. And then I need, this is a really dark brown. I'm going to darken this up and add another layer. Oh, that's perfect. Okay. Of weird things on top. It's just dead grasses. You know what I mean? It's a very thoughtful bird nest. I've never seen one of these in person, so doing things I've never seen before is a lot of fun as well. Just like doing things you see all the time, that can be just as fun, but yeah, I'm ready for the Museum of Bird Feathers and the Museum of Bird Nests. I would totally go to both of those. If that was a thing, I would visit both those in a heartbeat. You couldn't keep me away. And then I could sit there with a sketchbook and, I don't know, pens, colored pencils, something, and just doodle all the feathers and all the nests. Gosh, that would be such a fun museum for artists to go to. And like, I mean, even ornithology, bird watchers and folks like that would absolutely love it. But like from an artistic standpoint, we need that museum too. So, okay, this is how my page is looking. This is the nest and the bird I'm creating. For the finalized page, it will be on my Instagram. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was interesting. I hope it was fun. This is just a little introduction as to what I'm doing in February. I'm doing fun, bright, cheery things. Things that are fun. And again, there's some ink components here too. So I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. If you have sunshine, go get some. 10 out of 10 recommend the sun. Just a little bit. Just 10 minutes. Okay. I hope your week's wonderful and I'll talk to you later. Bye.